Halfshelltoys, rocking that flipping history. Nostalgia's where it's at. I can prove it. Come in here and just take a look at it. Look no further.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Monday, March 31st. We had a great weekend in sales. Probably haven't had a weekend like this since November, maybe December. So it was really refreshing. We had 12 orders for 13 items. So one had two items in the order. So the first thing that we sold was this vintage Mickey Mouse telephone. It's got like a plastic wood grain at the bottom, but he's in pretty good shape. We picked him up at a yard sale for $5. He didn't have a phone cord, so we picked up one of those. But he'd been listed since last summer, and this phone is from 1976, and it sold for $54 plus shipping. Now this is a large item, so shipping is expensive. The buyer ended up paying $88.67 shipped for this item. So shipping is going to kind of be a nightmare for me with this, but we'll wrap up the receiver separately and that sort of thing, and we'll do our best to package it perfectly so it gets to the customer in one piece. And the second thing that we sold was this 90s vintage, they call it like a popcorn, melted popcorn, plastic material pumpkin. This thing's brand new. It still has the tag on it, so I don't know if there's a date on here or not. 2004, so it's a year into vintage, so it's 21 years old. And so this came out when I was in high school, when I was graduating high school. So it is a really nice pumpkin, brand new, and it sold for $20 plus shipping. I think I had it listed for $29.99, and it was 10% off, and then they shot an offer at $20, and I just took it. So $37.24 shipped for this item. Goes to show you that people are still buying Halloween decorations even in March. So keep listing those. And then the next thing that we sold was this 2014 Star Wars figure. And it's a 12-inch figure. It's in really good condition. This is kind of like on the low end of Star Wars figures from 2014. I want to say these were like $10 and new in the store. And they don't sell for much. I got a bunch of them in a lot about a year ago. Maybe almost 13, 14 months ago maybe. But this guy sold for $5.98. And it's going to someone in Portland, so just a few hours north of here. And they paid $14.53 total. So about $4.50 more than retail back in 2014. So and the next item that we sold was two more door handles. These are, if you watched our last video, we explained that we got these at actually a day after a yard sale. They had a bunch of them. We got them for free. So this set of two sold for $8.98 plus shipping. The buyer paid $23.43 shipped. These are on the heavy side, so they had to pay up for shipping. So we'll probably be able to keep a little bit of the shipping cost on these. And, you know, about $5 a piece is what we've been getting for these lately, which is totally fine because, you know, they were a free item. So, and then the next thing that we sold was these 4 VHS. They're in clamshells. Got a Casper and The Nightmare Before Christmas and Beauty and the Beast and Indian in the Cupboard. And we sold all 4 of them as a lot. And they sold for $7.19 plus shipping. They sold for $14.20 shipped to the buyer. And the next thing we sold, we actually sold 4 of these this weekend, are these Dutch Brothers tote bags. Now these came out on Thursday of last week. There was, I believe, 4 different bag types. The screen print was different on them, and then the color of the handle was different as well. And then they came with their own special like sticker. And so what we did was we bought 4 of them. I believe they were like $17.99 a piece. That's the special sticker that they came with. And then what I did when I listed these is I added 4 extra stickers from my lot of stickers that I have. So you got 5 stickers and a tote bag, and we listed them for $40 a piece, and all 4 sold over the weekend. So we doubled our money on those. I'm happy with that. It gives us a little extra money for coffee. All right, guys, the next things that sold was this Sludge Fortnite figure. And this is from the Mega Toy Haul lot that we just got in last week. And we took an offer on him of $16 plus shipping. So the buyer paid $24.31 shipped for that item. And the next item we sold, now this was a good one. This was a really good sale. It was this Batman and Leonardo double figure set. And this is from Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I bought this personally when it came out at GameStop. So I paid, I think I got them on clearance, if I remember right. And I got them for like $34.99. So I'm like $35 into this item. And that was, oh man, probably close to 8 years ago. I don't see a... 2019 is when I bought this. So it sold for $115 plus shipping, and it's going overseas. Someone from the international program bought this. So their shipping's a lot in some cases, especially when it's a larger item like this. It's their shipping cost total with the item was $146.22 is what the buyer paid for this. So after I ship it, I should be able to get about $100 for this. So that's a pretty good profit in my opinion, over $50. And I pulled these out to list them a couple of years ago, or a year ago, and I was really disappointed with the values on them. But then all of a sudden they just shot up. This one was over 100, and I want to say the Raphael set, I can't remember who he was with though, Robin maybe. He shot up to over $100, and I sold the Robin set a few months ago, and it also went overseas, and this one's going overseas. So that was a really good sell. Really happy with that one. The next thing that we sold was this Little Shop of Horrors Funko Pop, and we took an offer on her because she has some box damage back here. So I knew it was going to be a lower end sale on this one. So we took an offer of $10 plus shipping. So the buyer's paying a total of $18.65 for her. So still not bad. I'm probably like $5 into this. My buddy that I get Funko Pops from, I tend to give him more than just $1 or $2 for ones that I know that will bring $10 or more. So I'm probably about $5 into her is my guess. So doubling my money on that one. The next thing that sold was this Jurassic Park dinosaur. Now this one's from 2015, and it does have action, and he makes noises, and he lights up. I think his battery's getting ready to go dead, but it's in really good condition, very little paint loss. And I picked this up, I remember this one specifically where I got it from, because it was the only thing that I bought at the yard sale. And it was a pretty big yard sale. There was tons of stuff there, just nothing really that I was interested in. And I dug through a toy box and I found this, and it was 25 cents. And I remember giving the lady a quarter at the checkout desk, and she's like, whoa, big spender. But 25 cents, and it sold for $4.49 plus shipping. They shockingly paid $13.92 shipped for this item. It's unbelievable what people will pay for shipping to get an item that they spent less than $5 for. So, but that was all of our sales for over the weekend. I'm super pleased with it. And it's the last day of March, so I'm hoping for at least a couple more sales today to close out the month. Buddy, it is Tuesday, April 1st, and we had 4 sales overnight. Also, I wanted to touch base on the weekend and yesterday. So over the weekend, we had a $600 weekend, and I haven't seen those kind of numbers since probably the first part of December. So it was super refreshing to see that. Then yesterday we had a $200 day. So far today we've had one sale that adds up to about $44. So we're on a roll right now and I'm loving it. So hopefully that continues. But let's go ahead and go over the 4 things that sold yesterday that we'll be shipping out this afternoon. So the first thing that sold was this little part right here. It's for a Ninja Turtle vehicle. It's for the Psycho Cycle. And we actually sold one of these, I believe, last week. Or was it over the weekend? I don't know. We sold one just recently, and it was in one of our videos. And that particular rig had it. But this one was from a lot of stuff that I got over the summertime. I decided to list it. I didn't think it would sell, but it did. So it sold for $7 plus shipping. $13.16 shipped for this little item, and that's nuts. I didn't think it would sell. I felt kind of stupid listing it, but it was only listed for maybe a month and a half, so it didn't take too long to sell. The next thing we sold was this dinosaur from the 90s TV show. She's in pretty good shape. She does have some paint loss and stuff, but you know, kids played with these toys pretty hard back in the day. And I believe her name was Fran. Yeah, Fran. And I have this whole set on card. It's actually in my arcade right back here. And I had the whole set when I was a kid. Got them for like my 5th or 6th birthday, I think. And I loved them. I played with them all the time. I loved the show. And they're just iconic toys. Unfortunately, they don't sell for very much. But they're super cool and I like them. So this guy sold, or this girl, I guess, sold for $8 plus shipping. We had a price at like $14.99, and I had a feeling that was a little high because she doesn't have any of her accessories or anything. She's probably like a $20 figure complete. And so in the spirit of having great sales from now on the rest of the year, I decided to take the offer of $8. So the person paid $14.92 shipped for this. $15 is about what this is worth. So they're paying about what it's worth. Then our next sale, this was a great one. This is the one that made my day yesterday. Is this Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello. He's an 11-inch figure. And I believe he was made in 2018. Never been out of the box. And I bought this in store when they were, being sold when they first came out. And I got it on clearance. I paid $10 for this. They had the whole set of 4 brothers there. So I paid $40 for all 4. And I listed these probably a month ago. And I was really surprised by the price on these guys. So he went for $128.24. So the Rise line wasn't around for very long. I think it was probably only around for maybe like 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And so the production numbers on these toys were probably pretty low. They only, I believe, if my memory serves me right, these were only shipped out like twice. At the very beginning, and then about halfway through the line, I remember seeing more shipments of them coming out. And typically when a line's doing really good, this stuff will continue to be shipped out multiple times while the line is, especially the base. This is the base figure for the Giants. So they'll keep producing these and sending them out quite a few times while the line is healthy. And this one didn't stay healthy for very long. So these are very hard to find. Even loose complete without his box, he sells for like 40 to 60 bucks. So definitely something to keep your eye out for. I remember seeing one of these in a antique store about a year ago when I hadn't listed them. I didn't know what their values really were. But there was one of these in an antique store for $25 a year ago that I saw. I wish I would have bought it. Once I realized a month ago how much these were worth, I went back to that antique store and it was already gone. So, yes, keep your eye out for this guy. He sells for really good money. That was a great sell for us. Then the last item that we sold was actually from the Mega Toy Lot. And this was Luigi figure. And he sold for $9.89 plus shipping. So the buyer paid a total of $16.98 for this item. So that was the last item that we sold for Monday. Those will be shipping out. We've already had one item sell today. Super excited about that. We're going to be spending a bunch of time listing stuff today. And we'll update you guys on what we have sold today so far. And the rest of the day tomorrow. It is Wednesday, April 2nd. And we sold two things in the last 24 hours. The first thing that we sold was this like 1970s sugar and cream set. They've got mushrooms on them. Very nicely painted. It's glazed on the inside. Very, very nice set here. It took these a while to sell, and I was really surprised. Now, I believe this is just a set that someone purchased at a craft store and painted themselves. Their initials are on it, plus the manufacturer's name. So, but still a really cool set. And I was, like I said, I'm really surprised it took a long time to sell them. But they sold for $25.19 plus shipping. The buyer paid a total of $44.77 shipped for these. Just because I'm going to have to put each piece in its own separate box and then put it in a larger box so nothing breaks. So it's going to be a heavier package, but that will ensure that the customer gets their product and it'll be in the exact same shape as it was when it left me. So $44.77 shipped for those. Now the last item that we sold, I've already have it packaged up and ready to go, and it's been like that since I listed it, just because I didn't want them to break. So I'll go ahead and throw a photo up here, and there are a lot of 8 alabaster, like dyed stone Easter eggs. They're about the size of a normal, like extra large egg. Some of them have little labels on the back of them saying that they're alabaster eggs, and some of them don't. I had them listed for $25, but I took an offer yesterday on them for 20 bucks. Just like the creamer and sugar set, these I didn't package each egg separately in its own box, but I did wrap them in tons of bubble wrap. So they're kind of in a larger box. They're heavy to begin with. So the buyer paid $33.73 shipped for the eggs, and I think it would have been a lot more shipping if they were on the East Coast. The person that bought the sugar and cream set is on the East Coast, so the shipping's a lot more just because of the distance alone, and the person that bought the eggs is in California, so their shipping cost probably would have been another $5 to $6 more if it was going to the other side of the country. So those are the two items that we sold in the last 24 hours. Hopefully we sell some more today, and we'll be back for a Thursday video. Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, April 3rd. We had a couple sales, so we're going to share those with you guys. First off, we sold some more alabaster eggs, so I'll put that picture right up here. This particular set had a little more color, especially the purple egg, and it had a couple orange eggs with it too and stuff. So it sold for a little bit more. Plus, the eggs were in better shape, And we got $35.99 for the set of 8. It cost the buyer $57.79 shipped for that item. They're super heavy, so the shipping was ridiculous. So our next item that we sold was this Funko Pop. It's Happy from Spider-Man. And I really like his character in Spider-Man. This was a pretty good sale. It sold for $9.89, so close to $10. And the buyer paid $17.76 shipped for this item. So I know we will have some items for tomorrow, for Friday, because we've already sold a couple things today. So here's for Friday. Hey everybody, it's Friday, April 4th. Man, allergies are starting to act up. Spring is right around the corner. Flowers are blooming. Trees are budding. Man, I've been stuffy and sneezing. So it begins. I'll probably be dealing with this for like the next 2 months or so. So we did sell 4 things in the last 24 hours. So the first thing that we sold was a Christmas item. And I don't know if you guys can see through this well or not, but they are embroidered angels. They're vintage, and they're done with like a silk type fabric, and then they've got gold threading. So this was a lot of 8, and it sold for $19.66 plus shipping. $27.59 shipped is what the buyer paid for that. So just goes to prove people buy Christmas all year long. The next thing that we sold was a book, and it's a Garbage Pail Kids R.L. Stine book. Now this came with like a sticker set and stuff in it, and this one isn't in the best of condition, but it's still in pretty good condition. But there's a few flaws. It's I took an offer on it for $4. I think I had it listed for $6. So $4 plus shipping. It sold for $9.20 shipped. Then the last thing, no, not the last thing. We got one more after this. So this is a vintage 1989 DC Comics, The Joker. Now, I could have asked probably $25 for this guy if he was in great shape, but he's not. He's missing a button. He's got a lot of paint wear and marks on him, but he's got his coat, though. Now, most of the time, they're missing their coat. So, basically, I sold this guy for about the price of his coat, I guess, which is fine. So, we took an offer on him for $12 plus shipping. The buyer paid $22.95 shipped for this. And my guess is he's probably got a really nice figure that needs a coat. So he'll probably just be removing the coat and putting it on his figure. Who knows? But still, nice sell. And then the last item is a Ninja Turtle item. We sold Donatello a few weeks ago for this. And this one is Leonardo. We bought this in-store new for like $14, $15. And he does a backflip or front flip. So, and I believe it's from 2014. No, 2018. So, the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line. And this line wasn't in stores for very long. So, this stuff is pretty collectible. This sold for $35.99 plus shipping. Buyer paid a total of $44.54. So, anytime that you guys find the rise of the Ninja Turtles, this stuff sells pretty well. Even the base figures loose with no weapons can sometimes sell for more than the vintage figures do. So, and it's just because it was only in stores for a few years or 2 years. And then the cartoon was canceled because, in my opinion, the cartoon sucked. But it wasn't made for my generation. It was made for a different generation. I didn't like the animation or anything like that. So, but hey, to each their own. So people obviously like the cartoon and are buying the toys. So this wasn't for me. But So I'm planning on doing a yard sale tomorrow. Hopefully I can sell a few things. I've been kind of going through my inventory in my store, removing some items that it's been listed too long. And so I'm going to have a big yard sale tomorrow and hopefully make some extra money. So sales are definitely up, and that's awesome. Right now, my week sales total is hovering around $1,000. I haven't seen that number in months, so that's awesome. So thank you all for watching our video. We'll see you again next week. Take it easy.
Nostalgia's where it's at, I can prove it. Come on in here and just take a look at it. Look no further, we got your childhood memories. Need to relive that moment just to